Hey, this is Robert, and thank you so much for tuning in to
Thank you.
Station
Of course. Have
Square.
a great day. You too.
And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to Station Square. We are kind of recording this on a nice Monday morning, and we have my returning guest in the corner. This is Jessica. Thank you so much for joining me on this morning's little episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. So nice, especially now that we're in the same time zone.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because I know you're kind of in the East Coast, and I'm just still over here on the West, so this kind of works out perfectly.
Yeah, it really did. That's really
Yeah,
nice. On the
yeah.
summery day. I think it was kind of fall the last time. Oh no, like spring or winter? I don't even remember.
No,
Yeah.
it was sometime in November, I think.
Oh
But yeah,
man, time flies.
it really does. So thank you so much for joining me today. How's 2025 going? Because we're kind of in July, so share a little bit about how everything's kind of been going and all that good stuff. So if you'd like to share, take it away.
Yeah, I can't even believe it's already July. A lot of the year actually flew by really fast because when things just seemed really slow generally in the industry, especially after joining the union in November and being in a smaller market proved to be very difficult because a lot of things slow down, especially on the commercial side, audition wise, and then you realize, especially on the voiceover side, there is like zero to nothing that you get without having representation. So I've really been focusing a lot on stunts and also making my own content. So my first short is almost done editing, being edited by the end of this month. So that was really exciting to step in the shoes of filmmaking and yeah, just getting better and better at different areas within stunts.
So because I know with a lot of this stuff that's just kind of been happening, because I know so much has definitely changed since we last spoke. I guess the good thing that I can really say is that we kind of finally reached an agreement regarding the strike just for video games and whatnot. So that's kind of been something that's been, you know, a concern for all of us. But yeah, I'm just really happy that we'll finally get something out of it, and let's see what happens in the future.
Yeah, totally. A friend of mine yesterday, he was like, I think I can finally announce something that I was working on, a video game. I was like unsure if it was finally over. It's like, yeah, it's finally over. We can share.
Exactly. Um, but yeah, I guess with all of that said, we could just jump right into the questions that I have for you. Um, so after all of this time, what do you say is something that is like extremely fulfilling or just really rewarding for you as a creator, actor, just doing all of this mumbo jumbo?
Um, I think most fulfilling becomes when I try new things and it is really hard, but then over time I keep going and I realize it was possible. It's like one of those things, like I guess like when you go to the gym and you maybe haven't been or really inconsistent and then after a few months you realize, oh my God, I'm starting to get better at certain things. It's almost like when I started adding this new skill set, was like, okay. I finally felt kind of comfortable in the voiceover community, and now I am entering like a new community, and that just feels really good to kind of be well-rounded and sharing these experience with others. Because it can be sometimes lonely, especially like voice acting, and you're just in your booth or you're taking like the training online. So being able to do things in person, that's why I'm in LA right now too for some more training and being in person. So that's exciting.
Yeah. And speaking of being in the union, because I'm pretty sure that this was also kind of like, oh yeah, being a part of SAG, I know that's like a discussion that we had the last time. So for this year, how would you say that being in the union has kind of been like a huge game changer for you when it comes to working and just doing a lot of the stunt work projects that you've kind of been doing after all this time?
Actually, it hasn't. So a lot of people say what I'm about to say a lot, but I still don't regret it. They do say to kind of hold off or stay like SAG eligible for a while because there is so much non-union work and it's like so hard to get a lot of the union jobs, like I said, especially in the smaller markets. So I know I've had to miss out on a lot of things because I can't work non-union stuff. So it's actually been tougher, but keeping my head up, knowing, okay, I'm in there because I want to be in this environment. And the main reason was because I knew a lot of the bigger stunt work, they're usually like, if you're not already in, a lot of them won't Taft Hartley you, like it's, they look at your profiles or whatever, their stunt coordinators go around. So I was just ready to accept that there may be less work right now, and there's always a good year and like a slow year, and that's totally been fine for me.
Yeah, because I know with a lot of the stuff that we've been doing as of this year, it's mostly kind of okay. We want you to be like, if you're in a union, SAG eligible, but I know a lot that are, SAG eligible and they're still doing like at least some non-union stuff, but um, there's going to be a time where they have to like, let it go and, just move on to other work, which, it can kind of suck, but at the end of the day, you just got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a good place. The contract I was under, it was one of those full or nothing, like either go now or you can just join later. So there was no in between being SAG eligible. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna go for it. Like I said, I'm just training and I'm being ready. And I have worked on a really cool stunt project this year, where my credits were mainly stunt driver because one of my days I spent a lot driving, and I did do wire work and I got to like kind of hang out of like a helicopter a little bit, not like fully, but just because it was more dangerous. So I got to do some cool stuff there. And I know from last year. I worked on a union film, Netflix film, where I had auditioned for a principal role. And when I didn't get that one, because I'm a veteran, I was put onto the list to be a specialty extra kind of on it because they needed people that actually had experience. And that was like the job where I ended up banking real good, like so much overtime and gold time and just everything. And that project's finally coming out this fall. I mean, it's one of those you don't even know if you're going to be seen, which is fine because even in stunt work, you don't know if you're ever really seen or not. But just to be part of it and to see what it looks like, I'm really excited to see when that comes out this fall.
Yeah, and I just really want to wish you congrats on everything that you've been, working on and still continue to pursue. You know what I mean?
Thanks. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's always cool. I love sharing the journey, like the highs and the kind of in-betweens and what I do in my in-betweens because that like for mental health especially just is really important. So I'm just taking it day by day, step by step, um, keep on building my tool belt, and that's really all you can do.
Exactly. So, what is something that you also really love? Because I don't know if you're still recording episodes, but what do you love the most about being a podcast host and having your own show? If I were to self-plug your, show for just a little bit.
Yeah, it's so funny. I hadn't, because I've been so busy with filmmaking and training and just adding more specialties onto my tool belt. Haven't done much, but I was in the process of scheduling an interview with somebody I'm really excited to do, but it just hasn't been the right time yet. So not li- unlike last year where I was like, okay, there's time. So I was filling it and I made this whole schedule. I contacted the people I wanted to be on and then had it set for like 3 months and then released it. But then things actually got busy and then it made it really difficult record everything, edit everything, and then do the marketing, social media stuff for it. So it did take backseat. It's just one of those for me nice to haves that there is like a place where I can share more than just like a minute of something on social media, but also talk to other people about the things we're passionate about. And if someone is interested, they can listen. And it's just a cool thing about having the podcast. It doesn't go anywhere, so that's cool.
Yeah. And what would you say are some of the biggest life experiences that left a significant impact on your work? Just anything that you want to share.
Um, it's so funny because you see a lot of the actors, like the celebrities that have been around for decades. They're always like the biggest thing in life is your like life experience, and it's really been everything from being a mom, just raising a human and being a daughter and a girlfriend and my military background, which that is so long ago, which is why I've been continuously this year working on refreshing all of my skills, which is what I'm going to do this afternoon here where I'm at right now. I have a private session refreshing some of the tactical skills because yeah, that's on your resume and that's a really big part of me, but to continuously do things accurately, you just need to train just as if you're still in the military. So that is the one that I kind of cherry picked that really I want to choose to stand out because I'm not a gymnast or I'm not a professional singer, even though I love to sing. So picking something that you really want to book and then really train hard. I feel like the military thing is something I really picked out, but literally anything in life that you can use for emotions and characters and situations is really helpful.
Sure. Yeah, because it's like with a lot of us, we kind of think back to what was something that really got that sort of bit the acting bug in us, and we have to remind ourselves, okay, this is what happened. It reminds me why we're doing this. Because with everything, just life would just get us down or just block us and just completely sap the energy right out of us, you know what I mean? And it could just be really difficult most days, but I know with everything that happens in our lives, there's because I know it definitely depends from person to person. But I know with a lot of us that are creators or just doing a lot of this stuff, I know with you and I, for instance, like I know like it's totally subjective. It could depend from a person to person, like I said, but I know that life gets us down. We kind of get back up and we're not really down for super long, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Because even though when it gets really hard and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore, it's like one of those intrusive thoughts because you do know why you're doing it. And yeah, it's one of those like, even if it takes 10 years to get somewhere, if I'm 10 years later and I'm like, man, I should have just tried and seen what would have happened, that's very regretful if you're passionate about it. So if you just keep going and being okay with maybe taking detours and accepting the pauses because it does get busy and having a support system, I think that just is really helpful along the way. But if you're passionate, like you said, why we're doing it, when they say that 10-year-old me, I think most of us probably were around that time always when we're like just dreaming and imagining and playing and you want to make that younger person proud. But lately, I've heard this also. You also want to not just think about the kid you were, but also what the 85-year-old you might look back to what it was like right now. So maybe we're like, oh man, there's not a lot of work and people don't see me, but you have so much going on that you don't see in your daily life where that 85-year-old you is like, man, you're still healthy, you're walking around well, you're like, have everything still ahead of you. And I think that's a nice way to see it because you don't rush as much as if you think, man, that 10-year-old me, I should already be there versus you're going to get there no matter when and just enjoying the journey, which can be hard, but you just got to remind yourself.
Yeah, that's something that is like much easier said than done because a lot of us are our own self-critics, man.
Yeah,
But
for real. That's why it's so important to keep saying it.
exactly. So going to and this is kind of like a nice little segue into a psychology question because when a lot of us are really hard on ourselves, it can be like, oh my gosh, why are we doing this? Yada, yada, yada. But Um, I will say that for something that has been really super just vital to you, I just wanted to talk about singing and musical theater and how it really helped you gain a better understanding of just, character psychology and just really use it to apply for voiceover or just everyday routines, if you're willing to share.
Yeah, especially in the voiceover world, it's so fun because we can be so much more out there and we want like the energy and the expression. So first of all, the musical part is because of vocal health. Um, and musical theater in a sense brings both together because the theater part is the acting part. Then also the musical part is that vocal part that we use, like how to stay healthy and how to warm up and how to use all the different areas, in your face and using your whole body. It's just something, and I feel like music is just always also a thing that I don't know if you've watched it, but I watched K-pop Demon Hunters and I was
My
just crying
God,
the whole time. It was so beautiful.
I knew you were gonna mention you were gonna mention that film. Dude, it seems to be like the thing that everybody's talking about now. I mean, for good reason, but still, it's just like it's so crazy how that movie, this specific movie, is what's really taking the world by storm right now. It's like it's K-pop. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, yeah,
And it's
it's
not the
K-pop
K-pop
demon.
because I don't
Yeah,
like really listen to K-pop. It's more that the story that they build around and then the music is in there and it's part of it and it brings like that
yeah,
Disney kid out, but it's also really modern and
yeah,
it's so you can feel it, especially when you're on this journey, you can just feel kind of what she's going through. And a lot of us at some point kind of felt like you're maybe hiding like a piece of you because you think you need to. So being authentically you is not really easy in a world where we're just so many characters like in the entertainment industry. We're just all characters and like weird in our own ways. So sometimes you feel like, oh, you need to be like tough here, or you got to keep it together, but so to be authentically you just seems like something people say all the time, but it's not really super easy. So that's when watching it and they just singing the heart out. It's so beautiful.
yeah. And you're somebody that's not, I mean, to be fair, I'm also not really into K-pop either, but it's so funny how this movie ended up striking just such an emotional core. And like I said, it seems like such a ridiculous concept. Like they hunt for like demons and they sing, which honestly, with a concept like that, I mean, it's not like it's gonna fail, but it's like, dude, how are you able to pitch this concept to say, I mean, then again, we got stuff like Ninja Turtles or any of this stuff that we've been getting out right now, and just I think the legacy and how well they've been doing just kind of really speaks for itself. We've had really weird concepts that ended up turning into success stories, and I guess it's kind of the case with this new film. Like some of the silliest ideas can end up becoming like a phenomenon. You just never know. And that's something that I just really love about
Well, I watched a
storytelling.
little bit of
Yeah.
BTS about it, and there was technically a lot more, but they had to cut so much of it because it would have been too long. And I'm really glad it didn't make it into a series, which yeah, they could have went more into the character and more explaining some things, but sometimes it's just really nice to watch something that has a beginning and an end, and that's why it was just really nice, even if not everything was explained. There wasn't so much demon hunting actually going on. It was just really the story of those girls, and it was really nice.
Yeah. So what would you say was yeah, because we could just talk about storytelling all day long. But for you, because I remember that you did a video on like IG or TikTok, I don't know, it was one of the two where you were talking about the non-linear acting journey. And I kind of wanted to know, like, if you'd like to elaborate a little bit more about how that video came to be and, just give your own I guess updated thoughts on that because I know some time had passed since you did it. I don't even remember. But yeah, just share more about, the acting journey experience and how it was just so like very much was a large part of your life. And if you want to share it with others that might be watching this at some point later down the line, if you may.
Can you can you ask that question again? Which part, which video was it that you were referring to?
I think it was about like non-linear. I think I probably shared it to you like through email or something like that, but it was talking about, you did it, but I just wanted to know how it kind of came to be and if you were to share like any updated, advice. Like for those that
Yeah,
may not have
I
seen it,
mean,
yeah. Yeah, feel free
it's
to share.
the non-linear journey is also because people talk about some people, it might take 10 years and you finna get it. And some persons like the first thing they audition, they get it. So that's already, and you also got to swallow how you feel about it. Like it might be somebody you like or somebody you know or somebody you don't know, and just be happy for everyone because not everyone's journey is the same. And yeah, everybody says that, but it's so true. And sometimes you just really, like I said earlier, just have to repeat certain things for them to just finally click because not you're not always at that stage in your acting journey where you can understand that that just clicks. Sometimes it might be the one time you book something and then you realize, oh, this person that used to support me, maybe not so much anymore. And you're like, oh, I don't want to be that for anybody else. But mainly also, if you feel like you're coming to like this, like a dead end, like I felt I was doing so much for voice acting. I was traveling, I was going to voiceover camp, I was taking casting director workshops and like my demos. I had an agent at the time. There wasn't really a lot of work, auditions coming in, and you're like, well, what else can I do? Like my happiness, the biggest one comes from like the work that I do. I have a great life, a great family, partner, son, so I'm really blessed and grateful for all of it. But I get a lot of out of the work that I get to do, my joy. So if I don't want to get depressed or like sit there and just dwell on the fact that I'm not where I feel like I want to be, then think about something else. But I did kind of fall into it. The second part of that is being yes, let's see what happens, optimist, opportunist kind of person. So I started voice acting, but then when I was looking for a regional agent in the Southeast, she was like, well, um, we don't really do a lot of voiceover, but we do on-camera stuff and you speak German and we do have a client. So that's, I was like, I didn't plan on doing on-camera work, but okay. So I started taking more classes there too, commercial and then film and TV. And then when I realized, man, there's so many great voice actors that do video games and like mocap and PCAP. There are people that have backgrounds in physical stuff. What can I do? Let me start taking martial arts. It takes a while, but you got to start somewhere. And that's when I was like, well, take some stunt classes. But then I realized how much I love it. So then that became a part of me. So wherever the work comes in or the demand is right now, I can just kind of go and the rest will just follow because it's all within the same realm. Like, yeah, I love seeing my friends that are like in the VO field and they're like crushing it because they just kept pushing and pushing through it. But it's also okay to kind of fan out. If you fan out, it might just take a little longer, but then it just all comes together. So you just have options. Just be open. Don't be closed off to think that the one thing you really wanted to do and work on is going to be the first thing you're going to do. And then you're going to just get upset. So just being open minded and being an opportunist.
And funny thing that you touched on clients, because that's actually our next question here. How often should you stay in touch with your clients and just explain about your kind of story on, with because you have a huge client list of those that you work with. So how often should you stay in touch with them for those that are kind of curious?
Sorry, I was just getting a little loud here. So,
No
um,
worries. How often should you stay in touch with clients is my question. Yeah.
I like that you asked that because not everybody is in that field where they do keep a lot of them. I feel like in my first year of voiceover, I was doing a lot of like cold emailing or people through word of mouth were hearing about me, and then I was working for bigger companies. Um, but then sometimes also you're on their roster, but positions change. Like I remember I was so happy when I was working with Adidas, and then that lady switched to another company. So then it was really difficult to kind of get back in with that team. But I know there are other people that really good about that. But especially now working in this union field, there is no real like client list because all of that is non-union work on my end. All of the project and people I've worked with. I mean, I can't speak for the other people, if they're FICO or if some of that work can still be union. I don't know. So I think it's a good thing that you asked that question because it might be pressure around that you have to have it. Um, and I just don't. It changed over the years, how I work and what kind of work I want to do and how I'm going about getting where I want to be.
Yeah, because that's kind of often one of one of the tricky things is like, one of the tricky aspects is like cold calling or emailing or whatever actor, however you want to phrase it as. It's just reaching out to those that you feel like, okay, I know I can probably give like a little artistic push. Like I know I could probably add a little bit more creativity to this a character or something that may not even be there. So you just definitely want to be that actor that is like, okay, I'm willing to do more and give them an even bigger, better product. You know what I mean? Just,
Yep.
for artistic merit, not for, money or anything, but just, be there because you want to help them out. You want to see that project just come to life and just make it big. You know what I mean?
But that also goes for like work that does not necessarily like client could also be casting directors. Like I love having IMDb Pro. So if I see something I really like, I'm like, ooh, who's casting for that? And then for example, I'm like, ooh, are they doing any classes and what is the tone of that show or whatever I want to be in? And I know a couple of years ago, at least, I think with Sound On Studio, I was taking with a casting director a workshop, and she was actually opening her roster. But there wasn't anything coming in that I saw this character and I saw she didn't have like a voice actor, but I saw, oh my God, I think she's coming up. So I had emailed her. So I had a reason to email her and we had a connection before. So then I go in and it took a little to respond. And she said, oh, we did actually cast it already. It just wasn't announced. And then I was like, I really want to be part of this. So I knew um, like once I joined the union and like more training and I had a new demo, I reached out again a year and a half later or so. And I was like, hey, all these things changed. Like maybe, a new season is casting. So to know if they are open to receive emails and to really be ready to reach out. Same with agencies. I've definitely been reaching out and I've had the opportunities to audition for some new agencies in other markets. And yeah, just got to be brave, a little bold, but also know who you are and what you're trying to sell. Because there's so many of us, so many. And I don't try to think about that, how many of us there are, because I know there's one of me and what can I bring to the table without worrying about everybody else.
Yeah. And this kind of brings to mind another important question, which was, so when you're signing contracts and everything regarding, with union or just signing on any project, when should you speak up if discussing about some legal matters, if it makes you uncomfortable, or if anything seems off or fishy during the paperwork signing process? Or when should you speak out if there's something regarding the project that you're not really fully comfortable with? Is pretty much my big question here.
I guess it's really easy more if it's something that's indie in the sense because you can easily just communicate it yourself. I'm thinking, I don't think I've had to. Oh, actually, once I guess I had my agent had to reach out. I was doing a commercial and then they were like, oh, could we use your car too? Like as part of like the shot. And they're like, we'll reach out to your agent, we'll pay. And then I realized, I should have like immediately said something, but it was still within time to be like, hey, they also used my card. Did they tell you? No, but let me tell billing. He's like, "Hi." But if there's something else and I can say it directly, I mean, I will. But sometimes things change. But it's really nice to have people on your side, like working, for example, with stunts, to be with a coordinator that really also stands up for their team. That's not just like, oh man, this seems really dangerous, but I don't want to lose this job, but really make sure that we're safe and stands up for if there is a possibility to have a mat because that shot really doesn't require you to be on the ground and let's be safe or, uh yeah, many things like that. So it's just knowing who the people are you work with and being able to have your back just feels really good, but also stand up. If you don't feel safe, you gotta say it. Can't worry because it's too late if something happens or you feel uncomfortable or how they use your materials. But sometimes you make mistakes and you end up somewhere and you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. And that's okay too. You learn from it.
Yeah. And it's also about updating your stuff every so often, like headshots, website and getting all that in check. So from your perspective, how often should you update those? Like as part of your tool set in a way? Yeah.
I go over my website uh, every time something changes, I think, especially if it's something bigger. I mean, once a year at least, you got to change all the like little the copyright thingies and stuff. But like union change, obviously important. New demos, new headshots. I also have my resume on there, and I now have it like integrated, so I don't have to write it like everywhere all the time. So to have a new one integrated on the website. So if I know I have like a bunch of stuff, and right now I know probably not a lot of people are checking it out, and it's not important, I'll wait a little bit, but at least like once a year. And definitely always check to make sure it's working. You don't want to have the problem somebody is trying to check out your link and it goes nowhere because maybe your payment didn't go through and it didn't renew your domain or something else broke in the link. So just always kind of checking, also making sure your mobile version and your desktop version is on par. I really love working on the website, so that doesn't bother me at all. So yeah.
Yeah. And how would you say, how can acting, like, going in the industry without an agent can affect you in the short and long term?
Really think affecting in the sense it's not necessarily easier if you want to be in something like bigger. It's harder for sure, but you just have to hustle more to be seen and to get the work and what kind of work you want to be in. But I also learned once, like I had both of my agents, my voiceover and on-camera agent, like super quickly. And then I was like, cool, now I don't have to hustle that hard. And then I was like, because I track all my stuff on an Excel sheet. And I was like, oh, it's been way less stuff coming in. And I was like, well, just because you have an agent doesn't mean you're getting more work. You still got to look yourself. So you still got to advocate for yourself, go into the platforms, submit yourself, make connections, go to these events. So just having an agent alone, doesn't keep you busy, I guess, until you reach a certain point that I can't speak for yet. So, but yeah, you can't just start sitting back once you're like, yay, I'm represented, and then think you're just going to start booking stuff.
Exactly. So name anything else that you're also really excited about, like any upcoming stuff or plans that you got going on in 2025, social media, just, self plug, have at it.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm like a person I have to have stuff to look forward to, and it like really helps on the calendar. So I mean, being here right now, I there was something else. It was kind of a last minute thing, but I can't speak much about it right now. But there's like a training. What's today, Monday? Tomorrow I'm going to. That I'm. That's the main reason I'm here, and I'm just so excited for it. It's a stunt training, and also knowing that that film that I worked on last year, that I just had such a cool experience on set with my first big budget thing comes out this fall, and whether or not I'm visible or not, whatever, just looking forward to it. And then the Nava Foundation Gala every year, I look forward to that in December, and I'm excited because this year it's not on a Wednesday, it's on a Friday, so I can actually make it a weekend when I come back out. So knowing I'll be here and flying back out home on Wednesday, but even if nothing else, books or other training things come up before December, I know I'm coming back in December. So I know it's gonna go by so fast. So that's already a lot to look forward to.
Amen. And what is something that you like to close us out on? Advice, final thoughts, goodbye, that stuff.
I think just remembering why you're excited about what you're doing and why you're passionate about it, why you're doing it. Again, like the main thing we've been talking about, like it can be a long journey. It might not be, just but be prepared for a long one, but hopeful to achieve what you want sooner. And the trying to be authentically you. Like I said, I'm always working on trying to find a good middle between the blah, 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 blah of myself and like the person that like looks and very serious because I do have a very military look, and especially I work out a lot and between the martial arts and stuff I do, it can be intimidating. So I'm trying to find a softer side, but then also lean into this side, and it can you can get lost what other people want of you, and maybe we all together can spend the year trying to find out like who we can be, like a good middle balance to stay yourself, true to yourself, but also kind of fit in when you're making connections, if that made any sense.
Oh, it absolutely does. Well, I just want to thank you for doing this quick little follow-up. And I know we kind of had to do a lot of rescheduling, just so much stuff just keeps happening for both of us. But I'm just glad that we kind of took the time to, just catch up and talk about, the industry and just life, just pretty much general quick coffee chat over Zoom. And yeah, just really happy to be here. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited to be here because I mean, this is the connection I'm talking about, like when you feel alone in this industry, especially voiceover not being such a big part after I finally got my new demo in the beginning of the year to, connect, that brings me back in and it brings me joy. So I was really excited that we made it work. So thanks for having me.
Exactly. So this should be going up at some time later this month. I don't know. My schedule is all over the place, as you can kind of check my socials and stuff. So thank you for watching. Stick around next time. Be sure to stay tuned for more news on any of the stuff that I got coming up. And until next time, catch you later. God bless and peace. I don't have anything else to say, so bye. See you next time.